allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. Could we please approval? I make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second for the approval of minutes. Do roll call first. Well, you know what? Yep, was on everything.
It's Pledge of Allegiance roll call.
Yeah, let's. You're right. My bad. Let's do roll call, please. Here.
Here.
Yes.
Present.
Here.
Here.
Now the approval of minutes. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. First reading.
Yes, sir. General Fund Consultants, 22,335. Toxicology, 10,000. Air Fund Transfer, 4.3 million. Local Roads and Streets Fund, Other Equipment, 325,000. Parks Capital Consultants, 2,500. Other Equipment, 138,000. Parks Operating Medical Life Insurance, 11,000. Expo Fund Household and Bedding, 5,000. Building Maintenance, 4,000. Building Liability Coverage, 1,000. Event Expense, 5,000. Kiki Park Fund Consultants, 2,750. West Porter Fire Special General Fund Personal Services, 600. Consultants, 45,700. 573. Officials Bonds, 230. First reading.
Thank you for the first reading. Before we get into some of the agenda, I'd like to just kind of share with the group. We had a loss just within the last couple days, and I'd like to share. I'm just going to read EMA Director Lance Bella's email before we get started. Our Porter County EMA family and the entire emergency services community mourn the loss of our agency's hazardous materials team commander, Greg Eckhart. Commander Eckhart passed away the morning of August 24th, surrounded by his family. Commander Eckhart was a 23-year veteran of the department, as well as a retired Navy SEAL. His commitment to the protection of our country and the citizens of Porter County was unparalleled. He served in numerous additional roles throughout emergency services, including but not limited to commander of the Porter County Fire Investigations Team, a member of the Porter County Bomb Squad, and treasurer of the Porter County Fire Chiefs Association. Just to conclude, in my words, Greg was a mentor and a friend to many individuals, including myself, and he will be missed. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Eckhart family. So just thank you for that opportunity to share. There will be there are arrangements that are listed and they're available on the, I believe, on our website. And I think Director Bella also put them out on Facebook. And if you have any questions, please contact Joy from our office, and she'll be more than happy to share any details with you about arrangements. One other thing that I want to mention, and I just want to kind of make a public statement to everybody and kind of bring everybody up to speed, that several members of our council and the commissioner's office, including myself, were at least the ones that are up for election this year, re-election, were invited to a forum hosted by the Porter County Public Safety Group, and this was August 22nd, last Thursday, and myself, I was there along with some other members of the council, and and the ones that couldn't make it wrote in. There were some responses, some questions, but just kind of share the gist of this group, what we learned. Is made up of Porter County public safety responders from various agencies. We're trying to initiate a public safety tax throughout the county, and they invited candidates again that were up for election, re-election, and even candidates or elected officials that aren't up for election to attend. So a lot of us attended, and were able to answer some questions. A lot of it in reference to a public safety, local income tax, and it was a good forum. It was interesting. Some debate back and forth. But I guess I just wanted to share with, and for public statement, and anybody else can chime in or make a comment if they like in reference to this. But I think one thing that we all have in common here that we all want the same thing is a good quality of life in Porter County, and as a fiscal body to keep our taxes as low as possible. I think that we've been able to do that over the years. Before I came on the council, and under the leadership of Councilman Rivas as well, and to keep our taxes low in Porter County. And again, we all enjoy the quality of life we have here in Porter County. We're getting to a point, and we're meeting with various department heads, or all the department heads, and I think in the spirit of transparency, a lot of our funding comes from the Porter County General Fund, which our property tax, that's where our income tax, a lot of it goes to, and that is where we pay a lot of our services from: salaries, capital outlays, equipment, continued services, and so forth. And over the years, we have been also supplementing interest from the Porter County Foundation to offset the cost of the general fund, and that's been a big reason why, over the years, our taxes have remained low in Porter County. Again, for public record, the general fund is to a point where, with the increased growth of our county and the needs for upgraded services and paying our employees competitive wages, and maintaining roads and sewers and bridges, and our general fund is not going to be able to supplement our future needs. And it's up to, I think, elected officials to begin planning for the future, because decisions we make now are probably going to be in place forever. We are looking at all options. All options are on the table. We're exploring the best possible avenue that we have available to us, and some of that is looking at the way that we have been utilizing the foundation money over the years. So we're exploring, is there more of a creative way now to utilize some of those funds? And we're also exploring if the possibility that we may look at a public safety tax or a general lit local income tax option. And I just want to say for the record that any type of discussion on a tax increase that again, any other of my colleagues can chime in, but talking with with everybody, or at least having a discussion about it, I think we're on the same page that we will engage the public, and the public, our constituents, if this were to come to fruition, they will know where every single one of their dollars is going to go. And I think that's important. This is not something that's going to be rushed. It's something that's going to be looked at methodically, and we're going to be exploring it with wisdom, and what's best for the entire county. And public safety is very important. It's, you know, it's a top priority. And we're going to look at how we can meet the needs of public safety, but all the other responsibilities we have within the county. And, you know, I know that talking about increasing anybody's taxes with, you know, the cost of fuel and the cost of groceries and interest rates, that, you know, nobody here, that's, you know, it's not what we want to do, but we are charged sometimes to do what we have to do for what's best for the county. And it's something that we're going to be looking at. We are exploring it now. But before any decision would be made, we would engage the public and look for public input, explain how the local income tax is utilized, where it would be spent, and make sure that people know where their tax dollars are going. So again, just in the spirit of transparency, these are discussions that are happening, and most likely we will be again looking at different options as we move forward. That's our job to do that, but we're going to do it with wisdom. We're going to be patient, methodical, and make sure that we try and make the best decision for the entire county. So we will keep you posted as things move forward. But anyway, that was kind of the gist of last week's meeting. The press was there, so I think there was an article that came out, and if anybody asking questions, it's just kind of, that's where we are today in the discussion phase. So anyway, that's why I wanted to share with the group, and I don't know if anybody else has anything to say. If not, we can move into our agenda.
Thank you. Well said, Mike.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. We have a special presentation, Warren County renovations project updates.
I'm going to introduce our speakers today. Thank you so much for having us on the agenda. I just want to let you know that our presentation is going to be short, but it has taken us months and months and months to get to this point where we are. Scott Carnegie is from DLZ, and he has actually been in the design on this project, both phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 was that initial $6.5 million and encompassed actually replacing the roofs. And if you have any questions about that, you can certainly ask him. Today at the commissioners meeting, we did approve phase 2, and Scott will be presenting that. And we also have Sheriff Fallon here in case you have any questions about the project. We have our construction manager, Scott Cherry. And I just want to say, Sheriff Fallon and his whole team has been instrumental in getting us to where we are today. And I think we have a really good strategy and a plan for the for the jail. And I'm going to turn it over to Scott Carnegie, and I'm going to let you sit here.
All right.
Yeah. His laptop, can you put so his
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Scott Carnegie, LZ. Been working for several months. Commissioner, Chair, Administration, Corporation, and getting this today. So here this evening, I wanted to present what we call the design development presentation. So at the end of the design, there's 3 distinct different phases. There's schematic design, design development, construction documents. We're right in the middle of the design phase. And this presentation walks us through the scope of what's been proposed. So as Barb mentioned before, we've been working on this for several months, and actually, the Skillman Corporation kind of kicked it off with performing a facility needs assessment of the sheriff's office and jail. And this spreadsheet here was really the founding document that started all this. Then DLZ, we came in and kind of validated the study of working with the Skillman Corporation, the sheriff's office. But what you see there in green, that's really the first project that's currently under construction. It primarily consists of the re-roof of the sheriff's office and jail. And then we went and met with the sheriff's office and identified what they thought were the next priorities for the facility. And those items were highlighted in orange, and we referred to those as the sheriff's top 20 because there's 20 items. And those are the items I'm going to be presenting here this evening. So the first item deals with the inmate toilet shower area. So this is just a couple of photographs, but as you might imagine, there are several showers and toilet facilities for inmates within the jail. Even though this is just a couple of photographs, they all pretty much look like this. So what we are proposing is to refinish all those with the seamless shower coating that's in a more modern jail. That's the coating that we would actually use. It's very durable. It takes a lot of abuse. We're providing some curbs at showers where the water sometimes runs out of the shower areas. And we're replacing some of the detention toilet and shower accessories. And then we're also going to upgrade the lighting within those shower areas. The kitchen has a lot of needs. The dishwashing area in particular, the HVAC system, the exhaust, the finishes, and some of the equipment in there is original to the facility. So part of the scope is going to be to reconfigure some of the kitchen equipment layout to make it more efficient and effective. And it'll receive all new finishes as well, that being the walls, the floor, the ceiling. So we're also going to redo a lot of the underslab sanitary there in the kitchen. There's a lot of issues regarding backing up of some sanitary water through the floor drains. So we're also going to address that. The other area we're going to address is in the left-hand side, that's a photograph of the video visitation. We're going to repurpose that space into search storage, evidence, gun, and drug storage. You can see over on the right is the cert in the center there. That is the evidence, and then over on the left, that's the gun storage, or the drug storage, but you also see then the gun storage there as well.
We don't do video chatting there anymore, is that why?
Correct. So we're actually proposing to include a couple of stations there in the lobby, I believe is what's being
Secure that area.
I'm sorry?
How will you secure that area?
This area,
Yes.
this is behind closed doors. This is not open to the public. It's
Okay.
a corridor leading off of the lobby area.
This is where inmates would call out to talk to their relatives.
So I think you're talking about the video visitation. So we're going to repurpose this video visitation. There's going to be monitors added space. The public nor the inmates will have access to this particular room right here where the evidence is.
That's what I was wondering. There's like 30 seats in there or something. So you're moving that where the inmates.
They don't use that anymore.
They don't. Okay, that's what I was asking.
They use tablets.
Yes.
So that's
Thank you. That's what I was trying to figure out.
And I have another question in regards to the toilet and shower area.
Yeah.
What causes the mildew with this new upgrade and how we're doing it? Is there a possibility because of the heat and humidity that will return?
Well, so to answer your first question, usually a cause of poor exhaust. So the exhaust equipment over the years has failed.
It's not moving it.
It's not. So when I get to the HVAC slide, you'll see that we are upgrading the exhaust systems at the jail as well.
And that's part one. What's the other part you said?
Excellent question. All right, so the other we are addressing are the padded cells. So these just happen to be the 4 off of intake booking. And the padding in a padded cell, it takes a lot of abuse, as you might imagine. And We're going to replace the padding, and if you look on the bottom photograph, you see the four little areas that have the red shape. Those are actually toilet rooms for inmates that are attached to the padded cell. And the problem there is that there's no ceiling. So inmates like to do the Spider-Man, just kind of the right width where you can put your hands on one wall, feet on the other, and you can kind of shimmy and climb up. You can get so high that the correctional officers can't get them. So what we're doing is we're going to put a ceiling in, so they can't climb very high. So that's also part of the scope as well.
That's crazy.
We're creative. So within the jail in the primary circulation corridors, they have what we refer to as the riot doors. So in a worst case scenario, if you've ever had a riot, you need to begin isolating certain areas of the jail to get it under control. We have riot doors. These are original to the facility. So we've met with a detention equipment contractor. We went around, we tested and fired each door, and hardly any of them worked anymore. So we're going to replace those and bring those back up to snuff. The other thing that we're doing is this is a photograph of an inmate housing pod. And this one in particular, and there's some others that have an upper level mezzanine. Not all of the housing pods have an upper mezzanine, but the ones that do, we're going to put a security barrier around the perimeter of the mezzanine and halfway down the stair. And we're doing that very frequently in modern jails because it's for the safety of inmates so that they don't fall or jump through an elevated position and cost the county a lot of money.
That's crazy.
So we're addressing that for the inmate housing areas that have the upper level mezzanines. This photograph, really it's indicative of the upcoming slides, but because there's so much mechanical, electrical, and plumbing scope within the jail, where, as you would imagine, we have to take down a lot of ceilings to access those spaces. So this drawing right here just represents and shows the ceilings that we're actually going to replace because we have to take those ceilings down to do the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing scope I'm going to show you here in just a moment. So we're replacing and providing new ceilings at these locations. So this is the plumbing scope, but you heard me mention before about the sanitary piping in the kitchen. We're going to actually rod all the existing underground sanitary and replace the bellied and sanitary piping. There's some just kind of scattered throughout the facility we're suspect of. We're going to replace the entire existing non-security plumbing fixtures, so your standard commercial china. We're replacing all those. We're replacing the electronic water management system. So the electronic water management system, it's a control, it's a computer. It runs on a separate software. Where for master control, they can actually hit a button and turn the shower on, turn the shower off. They can say inmates can only flush the toilets, 3 times in an hour and that kind of thing. If you ever want to do a shakedown, you can go in and shut it off so they can't flush contraband and those types of things. So we're replacing that. We're replacing all the domestic water piping, 2.5 inch and smaller. Replacing the two existing water heaters, existing thermostatic mixing valves. And then replacing all shutoff valves and providing additional shutoff valves to chases and branches. And the reason that we're providing the new ones is because it provides greater flexibility for maintenance. And if you need to work in a certain section over here, we can turn this valve and we're not affecting, this other housing area, for example. And then we're replacing the existing security showers. So that one is actually related to the showers I spoke about before. But plumbing-wise, the actual shower control, it's stainless steel, it's detention grade. We're replacing that as part of the shower upgrade project. For the HVAC mechanical scope, we're replacing the equipment in kind as far as air handlers, return fans, ERVs, exhaust fans, which is what I was referring to previously, the smoke exhaust fans and boilers. We're replacing the 2 existing chillers and providing an additional, so it'll be a total of 3. Providing heater exchanger between existing building chilled water system and new chiller glycol loop. Replacing the building automation system, so that's your controls. That's what controls all your HVAC systems. We're replacing all of that. And then obviously the electrical disconnects and reconnects for any of the mechanical equipment that we're replacing. That's
the HVAC systems, are they, I know there's different tons for units for size of buildings. is it at minimum or, well, it's just minimum, maximum? Is there a gauge in there somewhere? We're not going with the minimum.
No.
Good, because otherwise, you know more than I that in a short time, if they're at the minimum, they're going to run out.
And
Or not.
yes, and at the same time, if you go to the opposite extreme and to the max, there's a lot of inefficiencies into
Yes, and as well.
Get that
Cost, right. Okay, thank you.
the electrical system, replacing the 3 existing UPSs. And then we're also replacing the existing emergency egress lighting throughout the facility.
Are you guys replacing the generator as well, or just battery?
That's under investigation right now. I'm looking at Mr. Cherry over here because we're all kind of talking and coordinating with the sheriff's office, and I believe Lionheart's coming out to do a test.
The generator now works fine though. I mean, it's maybe not where we want to go.
It's
not in trouble.
the automatic transfer switch has been problematic.
Okay,
And that they're coming out to test that.
that's expensive.
So just give us options as to what this is compared new, rebuild. We'll know that very shortly.
So the next 2 items, they were items that were actually bid with the first project that's currently in construction, and that being the re-roof. We bid them as alternate bids, but they were not awarded. But to include them, we're proposing to include them in this part of the project. That's replacing the exterior of building sealants, complete, all the way around the exterior of the building. And then this was a second alternate that was previously bid but not accepted, and that's replaced damaged security glazing. There's some on the interior and some on the exterior. And we have those located and identified on the drawings for contractors to bid. That is the proposed scope.
What do you think about it, Sheriff? Tackling all the major things, nothing's left.
You know what? At the amount of man hours or employee hours that have been spent on this project is a credit to, I think, the staff going through prioritizing the needs on where we are. Clearly, it doesn't fix every single thing, but if it gets these major things fixed, and we can work with facilities to develop a maintenance plan to fix the other projects going down the road, I think it's a good thing. So for where we are, the way we want to be responsible on the spending, I think we're pretty much getting there.
Just like to say, I think it was a well done presentation, very well thought out.
And how much is it? How much does all this cost?
This is next.
Funny you should ask, Andy.
No, I wasn't cutting ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
I do have a quick question though. You mentioned the riot door that were. Is that something that was overlooked? Of like, does it have to? And you know, some things if you don't use it, it tightens up. Is that something where it was like an oops, and now it's going to be a schedule to make sure these things operate appropriately? Now that they're going to get fixed, does that make sense?
Yeah, ideally they should be exercised regularly. Once a month, just
Okay.
open and close them just to keep things
Okay.
calibrated and lubed and that kind of thing.
So now that they'll be fixed or checked, then that should be on the list of let's do this.
Yeah.
Okay. That was just it.
Let's hope
I had no idea. It was an interesting notion. So, okay.
I will say, for a building that's 22 years old, I think maintenance and staff has done a very good job keeping the building up with what they can. So, I'd like to commend them too. It's not something that's overly just been ignored or maintenance hasn't been kept up, but 22 years old, and let's face it, it's a jail, and it gets beat up. So there's a lot of wear and tear to it. So I think though the county and the staff has been very responsible maintaining with what they can.
Now, this phase 2, is this from the current bond that we're doing, or is this from the bond we're going to be for the second bond number 2, right? Okay, good.
And Joe's going to tell us how cheap it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to introduce Joe Wizawani, our facilities director, and Scott Cheer Skillman, who is the construction manager. And Scott has worked with Joe to analyze the building envelope and our HVAC systems and any other critical systems that need replacement or additions or whatever. And this is at the prompting of Councilman Rivas, and I'm just so happy to say that we have some numbers for you today. I'm going to turn it over to Joe.
Those fancy USBs.
Should.
This would be better if it was.
So is it cool enough in here for everybody?
I brought a fan.
Oh, I mean, the temperature in the building, you know, tends to make headlines in the newspaper, so. So here we are. Here's the fun part of all this. So as Barb was saying, had done an extensive review of the administrative building, 157, and the JDC and the courthouse. We took a good look at the building envelope, the operations, mechanicals, all of that. Did an assessment on most of that, so now we've kind of got it broken down kind of by building, and keep in mind these are estimates, they're not exact numbers. These are based on consultants' information that we got from outside vendors and stuff like that as far as pricing and stuff. So we got a good number on the most critical components of what needs to be done in these buildings for the next several years. So we'll kind of get into the nuts and bolts of everything on that. So right now we're looking at approximately $625,000 for the Porter County Courthouse. We've got some problems over there that need to be addressed. They've been going on for quite some time, which involve the building envelope. These are the waterproofing in the front and back and restoration of those areas. Some mechanical issues and some other minor detail things. So the cost on that, we're estimating at about $625,000 for that. The administration building where we're at today, we've got building envelope, systems, mechanicals, some interior renovations that we're going to be taking a look at, some minor stuff. The biggest items are the safety and security. We've got some monies allocated for properly lighting our parking garage so that it's safe, and adding video cameras to that as well. There are some site improvements as well that we're looking at on that, but that isn't the bulk of it. The total we're estimating on that is about $720,000. The big item that we have here, and as they were talking about the number of years on the jail, I think Scott said it best, is you can relate the number of years in the jail and the JDC as dog years, because they're really rough years that these have served. So they did a minor renovation in 2012, but most of the components and everything in the JDC is going back to 1994. So they're quite old, and it's quite extensive, the list of stuff that needs to get done there. So the bulk of the monies that we're looking for would involve the JDC.
And does that 3.5 million handle? What does that tackle? I mean, I know what it tackles here, but percentage wise, is it good after that? Is there still more money needed? Like the JDC presented, there would be more money needed after that.
For the JDC, I think that addresses all of our major issues that we have there. I think we went above and beyond on that one. So I think we're good on that number.
One of the directions that I gave to Joe is I want to make sure whatever we're doing is going to protect his budget going forward, because he only gets a limited amount each year that we're covering the things that are going to have the biggest impact on this budget going forward.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Just so you know, this is about 10 years of my budget right here. Yeah, just
We're going to shrink your budget after this investment.
sorry. No, well, hopefully. Yeah. So the Porter County admin annex, or 157 Franklin, we're looking at about 854,000 on that building. Now, we understand that that's relatively new. However, some of the items, especially the windows, need to be addressed. Those were put in, but there needs to be, they weren't done properly. So we're going to fix the issues that they've been having with those windows so that it takes care of that. We're going to be doing some security cameras and proper lighting on the back end of the building. And we're also going to be making proper entryway into the basement area so that way voters can get in their equipment and out during elections instead of beating up the poor elevator over there is getting a wear and tear. So we just want to make sure that we're not killing the elevator, but we're providing a better access point and making sure that it's safe. So,
In regards to the windows,
Mhm.
when were they installed?
Scott?
The windows were already installed prior to the county taking over that building, which was quite a few years ago.
Okay, I was looking for warranty on the windows. That's why I was asking.
It's really
I mean,
the
they-
windows, it's more the lintels and the masonry details and the flashing associated with that. That's,
kind of like tuck pointing.
yes.
Okay, so because I was trying to think of if they were improperly installed, maybe we can get the guy who put them in there. But if it's been a while, oops.
It's been quite a while.
Yeah.
Whoever installed them gave them a tail light warranty. Yeah. So the total cost, we kind of got summarized right here. So on the total for all the buildings, the building envelopes is 1.5 million. Building systems is about 2 million. The interior renovations about 260,000.
Not the jail. Right?
Safety and security about 953,000. Site improvements at 958,000. That's about 6.3 million for that, with about a $200,000 contingency of about 6.5 million for the total facilities maintenance projects. That brings us to the next slide, which is the summary of the total projects with the jail project number 2, and then the deferred maintenance items. That's 18 million for the jail, 6.5 million for the facility maintenance, and then about a total of $24.5 million would be needed for the second batch of the bond. That's crazy.
So it's a $25 million bond and roughly $500,000 for the bond costs.
Any questions on any of this?
I think you guys have done some good work. I'm sure there's a ton of questions.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get copies of this.
Absolutely. Yeah. We had a technical issue with the printing. Otherwise, I would have had a copy of the deck for tonight. But I'll make sure it gets sent out to you guys.
Any questions?
Do we know where we're at with the bond? Like, what's the plan for that? Commissioner, do you know? Is it this year, next year?
Well, we're really hoping that you could get going on it so that we have these funds available after the first of the year, so that we can continue the jail project and we can get going on the
Later on the agenda, there's the initiation of the second part of this bond.
And is that going to be discussed, the impact to the homeowners and everything like that?
Yeah.
We have those sheets. Are we ready to talk numbers yet or no?
I
didn't
know it.
I'm not trying to rush you.
I know it's on your agenda. I don't know who's speaking to that today.
Okay.
I do.
I know
Sorry, I don't know. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I know that they had engagement for Baker Tilly. I'm assuming that they're going to put that information together.
This is where we started.
I feel like that's information we kind
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why, President Richter, why wait if Baker Tilly's here? I mean, they just presented why they wouldn't be behind.
I think all we're doing tonight is discussing and approving the start of the process. So that's our first meeting to actually get the information from Baker Tilly. I don't know.
But they're on agenda. Let's bring them up now. I mean, we just talked about the projects. I mean, why wait another hour and a half. Let's talk. Have Baker Tilly come up right now,
I like him.
unless they're not here. If that's the case, then I understand.
They're prepared to do something tonight.
I don't. They're on the agenda. You shouldn't be asking me if they're prepared.
We were just doing this to start the process
Yeah.
of the bond, to be able to talk about it in public with all the information.
So then we would be discussing hiring Baker Tilly to do that study for us. That's what we're okay.
So we're not really. So what
We're just learning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was just a learning.
information?
Learning
Sounds like an FYI.
informational meeting.
Okay.
It's not.
But you have Baker Tilly, municipal advisor. You have Taft Law. I mean, and Scott McClure. They're asking the process to start. So I would imagine they have information. Are they not here?
I did not ask for them to be on the agenda. Or I don't know.
I put on there because they were on the email, so that you knew who all was involved in that discussion.
The way I'm understanding it, Councilman Rivas, is that we would discuss it now and then hire Baker Tilly to have them presented at our next meeting. Am I correctly? That's what I gathered.
Well,
I don't.
Just now, that's what
President Brickner, did you?
Well,
have
we've been
done?
getting emails, and what we're doing is we're actually, approving tonight to kind of approve the timetable of our bonds, and then get the information and discuss it in public like the first bond. All we're doing is, from my understanding,
I believe that we've already hired Baker Tilly for this.
Oh, you guys did this?
I believe
for
not today's meeting, but I believe in a prior meeting we've already hired him.
we've already. You're saying, Barb, we've done what? We've already heard.
I believe that the commissioners have already hired to do the analysis.
So what we're doing here tonight is just informational. It's not-
I did not realize that was on the agenda tonight. I didn't realize that.
I think the issue is the council is going to proceed with the second bond. That there's some statutory debt that we have to be cognizant of, and my discussions with Scott McClure, he had just wanted to get this on the council's radar.
Yeah.
It landed on the agenda, though.
What's that?
All right. I get the radar, but it's on here.
No.
Like to present.
Yeah, and I don't know the
With bond one, Jimmy from what is that firm? The bond council. They presented the schedule, the statutory schedule.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. We
and that's
got a statutory schedule, and then
I thought they were going to be here tonight to talk to them about the schedule, but at least it's on the agenda and it's on our radar. I would like to know those deadlines from them, of course, as well. But again, that's great.
You gave us a deadline in our pack. These are all the deadlines. Scott just said, please see the email from bond counsel below concerning the proposed second $25 million bond. My suggestion would be to put the bond on your agenda, discuss and approve the start of the process. It does not lock us into getting a bond. It just starts the process. So then he gave us all the dates, and we want to be transparent, so we put it on the agenda so everybody can see the dates and start the process, so we can talk about it in public. So that's it. It's all about transparency. So
We go through the projects and the costs.
and go for the projects, the costs, and how much it's going to affect the taxpayer.
Right. That's what we really.
Right.
I would like to know is what's the bottom line cost going to be to the taxpayer.
Right, and then in your agenda they have, the dates where they do the publications and termination, and then the county council on September 24th. At least this is the timeline they're proposing. Is they conduct the first public hearing on preliminary determination to issue bond. So you'll have all the information. You'll be able to look and see what the issues are. So it's in the back of your.
Red, would you mind passing along a copy of that to us? Because we've not seen that yet. The commissioners haven't seen that.
I got a copy of it.
You do?
Yep.
Well, tonight will just be the presentation that they gave us and stick to the current agenda.
Yep. That's it.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay. Highway.
Hawaii. It's the weather.
Huh?
It's the weather for it.
I know. Yeah. Heat, gotta have a shirt.
Hey, we have an additional 320,000 to other equipment.
We're done with
Appropriation needed for a new street sweeper.
Yeah, we were gonna try and wait till next year, but the one street sweeper we have has been broke down most of the summer, waiting on parts. We can get a demo model, and if we get it now, it'll save us approximately $21,000 from waiting until after the first year. So we have plenty of cash in 1169 right now. Just need it appropriated so we can sweep some roads, mainly our chip seal. Right now, when we do the chip seal, we have loose stone on those roads. We need a way to sweep it up.
And that's not happening on some roads now, which is why after the chip seal, it feels full, it looks like, for a couple of weeks.
Right.
So then normally that's swept up.
Normally within a week, we're out there with a street sweeper getting all that loose stuff swept up. And we have not been able to do that this summer.
So you have less cracked windshields that way.
Second Sylvia's motion.
We have a motion
Sylvia, I second.
and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Jim?
Thank you.
Have a good night, sir.
Tourism. Okay, we have the transfer $3,000 to gift shop supplies. Reason transfer needed because not enough in these line items.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
How are you doing with the gift shop? Is it all
Well.
but now in your lot of sales?
Yeah, we did a soft launch. We obviously had some upfront costs, but so far we're doing well. We feel good about we've been able to for local artisans and doing very well.
Good.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
You guys made that easy. Thank you.
Have a take care, Christine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Porter County Expo Center, Lori. We have additional 5,000 to expenses. Reason appropriation needed due to increased events to cover costs for the remainder of 2024.
She left the door open. Becky,
We do all these additionals at a time, correct?
it's your girl.
Yes.
Yep. Thanks.
Oh, I'm here to
Did I hear a motion or not?
I'll make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
Oh, that's what he's looking for?
We have a motion and a second on the first additional. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Okay, next additional $4,000 to building maintenance appropriation needed due to increased grounds and maintenance projects to cover costs for the remainder of 2024.
Move to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 And finally, another additional 1,000 to building liability compensation coverage needed due to increased premiums to cover costs for the remainder of 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Okay, next we have a couple of transfers. 15,000 from power to food and groceries, transfer needed due to increased events to cover costs for the remainder of 2024. Can we do both of these at the same time or individual? Together, okay. And the next transfer, 600 from travel to auto, truck, and equipment, 800 from training and ed to auto, truck, and equipment, transferring to cover increased maintenance on tractor and mower.
Make a motion.
Second.
I have a just question. On the $15,000 from power, do you have enough in there to meet your budget for the rest of the year?
I do. I went back 4 years to make sure that I have enough for the rest of the year, and we do.
Okay.
She's got the power.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and second for both transfers. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thanks.
Thanks, Blaine. Parks and Rec. Sounds like a TV show. All right, we have a transfer request, 3,000 for vehicle repairs and maintenance to water sewage. Transferring to cover the cost for new Brookdale master plan, for the new Brookdale master plan.
So that's actually a typo. That's supposed to be year-end utility expenses for that one.
It's supposed to be what? I'm sorry?
Year-end utility expenses.
Year-end utility expenses, okay.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. That was my bad.
For you.
Okay, we have,
Are you looking for a
discussion?
motion? Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have additionals. We have 2,500 consultants appropriation needed to cover the cost for new Brookdale master plan.
No, this is an actual Brookdale master plan. Okay, I just
Master plan, yeah.
okay.
So yeah, we're revamping some of our older master plans that are no longer feasible or dated to make them more realistic and more accomplishable. So we've revamped the Brookdale master plan and the Akiki master plan, and so now we need to pay the consultants for that services.
And does that roll into the next additional of the 138,000?
Yes, so that is these are both objects from the Pine property sale that we had.
So you're taking it from your fund.
So these are
additional into your fund.
These are our funds, yeah, that we have in our operating and our capital accounts that we just need appropriated so we can start using moving forward on.
Move to approve the 2,500. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the first additional 2,500. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Okay.
I'll vote again. Sure. Yes.
Okay, another additional 138,000.
Motion.
Your pocket.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any questions?
What are some of the other equipment that you're talking about?
So some of these are the large capital projects that we're working on. So this is stuff going to be related to the amphitheater and campground at Sunset Hill, and then related to the new playground and picnic shelter that we're going to be working on for Brookdale County Park here in the fall. And this is going to really kick off the groundbreaking for the development of Brookdale County Park, which has been on our radar for quite some time. And then finish up some bigger capital projects at Brink Across and Sunset.
Thank
you. So it's gonna kind of spread across several of our parks.
And this isn't tackling the new South County Park at all?
No. So that is another project we're working on. We've got the Akiki Fund. We're waiting on a new budgetary estimate from Larson Danielson right now on the revised phase 1. And then as soon as we have that new cost, we'll be able to start figuring out how we can start tackling that project. We're just waiting on the numbers to come back now to see what. I'm hoping we reduced it enough that it's feasible now. That's the plan.
Good. Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second for this additional roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, please.
Yes.
Next additional 11,000 to medical life insurance appropriation to cover half the remaining insurance costs for the new full-time maintenance position.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions?
Was that factored in already for his pay, or did we just forget about that? Or
So this is just something we didn't add in on when we did the creation of the maintenance position, so we had to come back and add in that.
Jake's always sneaking things in. It's not.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please. Yes.
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 Okay, very good. And one last additional request, $2,750 to consultants, appropriation to cover the cost consulting services for the, how do you pronounce that?
Aki.
Akiki.
I'm sorry, what?
I thought you said Akiki.
Aki. Yep.
Yeah, Kiki.
Master plan.
Is that what you addressed earlier?
Yeah.
Talking about.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you how you're going to pay for that, but here it is.
Yep. We've got a dedicated fund.
Okay.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion.
Third.
Second. Any questions? Discussion. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Corner. The corner general fund, we have an additional $10,000 to medical and hospital services toxicology. $22,335 to consultants. Reason appropriation needed expenses to finish out the year due to increased cases.
Yeah. We're averaging 11 autopsies a month now. And the way that the pathologist is charging, it breaks down to about $2,100 per autopsy. So we just need it. At the end of last year, after budget time, he did increase his prices for the month. So that's why I just need this money to get through the year, and then I'm going to ask for that to cover next year during budget time.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Director.
We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any other questions for the coroner? Where'd Andy go? Okay. We wait till he gets back.
You never how long.
Okay, we have a motion second for this additional roll call, please.
Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we have a transfer, $250 from travel to uniforms and clothing, $640 from furniture fixtures, over $100 to training and ed, $175 office equipment, over $100 to training and ed, transfer need to finish out the year.
On that one, I need to switch the $175 instead of transferring that to training and education. I need to put that in the clothing, into the uniforms, if I'm allowed to do that at the last minute.
Without the advertisement, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not.
We can do that tonight?
That's what he said.
Okay.
He said.
And I have my paper here for
Okay.
Joy and.
So what you're doing is you're amending the 165 instead of training and ed, you want that in the clothing as well?
Yes, please.
That's doable tonight.
Make a motion, Mr. President. We approve.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
And did we already go over the 10,000?
Yeah, that got covered.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Auditor. Motion, the 44,300,000
That's
additional interfund transfer appropriation to cover the shortage of health insurance.
So what has happened over the years is you guys and us, we've budgeted correctly, but we have not funded correctly. This is moving the investment interest money from the general fund unallocated to the health insurance fund to cover health insurance for the rest of this year. The average per month is 1.1 million. We got 4 months left. It's right around there, and then we have some rebates and everything that come in through that time as well. That is the amount that we would need to cover it for the rest of the year.
Can you explain what you
Coming from our unallocated money.
Yes.
when you say we haven't funded it previously? What do you mean? You're just making like little transfers to add it up? I mean,
So what that means is, so say, we'll start with the general fund.
Yeah.
General fund has the majority of the employees in it.
Uh-huh.
However, not all those employees were calculated when it came to the funding portion of it. So say a funny fund had 2 people, and we're going to take the 19,551 for each person. We've calculated that. In the general fund, that number was just under appropriated for the funding portion of it. Budget wise, we don't have to do anything budget wise because you guys have budgeted it correctly. It's just the funding portion, which has been, I guess, helped in the past years by ARPA shortfall, 2 million here, 1.5 million there. So it's just caught up to us.
Are we running out of pockets? Is what you're saying?
No, this is just this can be corrected over time through a increase to insurance.
Have we had a recent increase?
No, so this is just an increase to the funding portion of it. This is not an increase to the actual budget portion. Budgeted is fine. We didn't fund it correctly. And so slowly over the next couple of years, so next year, I'm going to sit in front of you again and ask you to transfer more money.
Or another 4 million?
No, next year should only be 3.5. The year after should be about 2.4. The year after that should be about right around 1. So, just
I mean,
yeah.
And it carries over into the next year.
So we've just been band-aiding it instead of
because I could remember
taking care of the problem.
We put money, a couple million at least, into it.
Into the budget, but not to the funding portion of it.
You had the numbers correctly, but you didn't have the money coming out of the correct funds to have the total amount.
So while we budgeted for it, we still have to then pull it from each department on a quarterly basis. And so that number has just been under funded for a couple of years. So
if you think about it, when COVID was happening, we didn't have the income coming from Memorial Opera House, some of those other departments that covered their own insurance. That just carried over and we got lost of it.
Okay, so it sounds like it's been kind of recent, not.
Yeah, it's been happening for 3 or 4 years.
so will we be able to identify those going forward? Like, I know you guys are fixing it, but are we going to know when the fund didn't support it from the year prior? How would we know that?
He does have a report showing what we're short each year.
Yeah.
We'll give that to you.
Okay.
And show you exactly what's been going on and then working and funding it. And as we know it, we've taken money from ARPA to cover those losses.
Right.
But the problem is that you can't substantiate that on a regular
I think every year we're moving money in.
But the cost has been increasing. I mean, when the commissioners did some corrections, I don't know, was it 5, 6 years ago to the whole, it dropped down to like, at one point in time, I think we're probably still more expensive than we are now. Total cost, it dropped down to maybe 9 million is what we were expending out, and it's slowly been climbing back up. So are you saying we're about at 12 million now?
So yes. So about 12 million would be the average for what our health insurance is costing now. So like just around $1 million a month.
And we've tried the last couple of years to budget more out of, you know, a couple $100,000, you know, but the $19,000, $19,500, is that an accurate number of the cost?
As of right now, yes, per employee.
So I mean,
none of the calculations have ever been incorrect. It's just when we went to actually pool the money, the correct amount of money has just never been pooled.
It's like take the building department, you know, stormwater up there. How many people that they have? Those are all fee based, right? So are we like pulling out the total amount of
each department outside of the general fund has met their goals and have paid for each one of their employees correctly?
Positions or employees?
For the positions. And so the general fund is the one that has been lacking over those years.
But then we also have like the prosecutor that can't cover their, let's say grants, okay? We let the grants take place, but they can't cover those other amounts. And they have enough to pay their salaries, but then when it comes to pull out for their medical costs, it's not there. So we have to do money out of the general fund.
That's something to remember, guys.
So that's like when,
yeah,
when we approved that's what he was transferring $11,000. He was only taking care of half of his portion.
Correct. Yes.
And that's why I said when we hired him, I think going forward, he could cover all of that insurance, because I looked at that report because I asked you, I've been following this since before I got elected. So it's everybody, believe it or not, is covering most of their stuff, like tourism, waste and recycling. Everybody's covering, I think, one department, airport, but
yeah,
a little bit here and there, but it's a general fund
that has been overall the shortfall of it. So yeah, and luckily we have this investment interest money into.
So you're saying that you're wanting to move 4,300,000. What's left in unfund?
This would be all of the unallocated funds in the.
This would be all of it?
Yep.
No, not.
For the unallocated, yes.
Not the entire general fund that you're talking.
You're talking about unappropriated. He's talking unallocated. Two different things.
We started the year off, let's just say, with how much? $15 million of.
Yeah.
That's unappropriated.
Yes.
Yeah, but that money is appropriated to get you through the next 6 months. That's never that I don't like that number. So
don't like
because you end the year with 15, 20, 500 million, you still need that money to carry you through to the next settlement. So there's never technically any reserve or any money sitting around.
Keeps us away from tax anticipation, or you know, to like City of Portage has to borrow $14 million, you know, because they don't have a. And that's why Baker Tilly will tell you to have a 15-20% reserve to cover you. They call it an 18-month budget, because we only get 2 draws a year, so it's got to carry over.
So yes, and so last year we ended the general fund with just over $15 million. Even with moving this money over, I anticipate the general fund ending this year with $15 million.
And that's because of the higher interest.
And this is because of the investment interest money from the treasurer's office. We basically, instead of getting to use it in other areas, cover the shortfall of health insurance this year.
Which we really have to consider going into budget session. I know we've tried it the last couple of years, but we've got to continue to try to chase that true cost. Insurance goes up every year. It doesn't. I mean, So if we're not funding it,
And I believe the commissioners and the attorneys are having, outside discussions on different possibilities of, changing the costs and stuff like that. So, once those shake out, then we'll have
Yeah, they're talking about changing it and being cheaper, I think.
So,
Getting
yeah,
a PPO plan.
we don't want to increase the cost to the employee. I mean, either. I mean, because that's out of their pocket. You give
again,
a raise and then pull money out of their the other pocket, for the increased cost. It's wages and benefits. And
I think today during the commissioners meeting, they had a presentation by GIS with reference to cost and with the HSA situation, taking it from traditional to PPO. And they were talking about overall having a savings to the employee. They're going to finalize the numbers. I don't remember the exact number because I didn't get any hard copies, so I don't want to give you a number. But it was my understanding that the employees would be better off with the PPO and the HSA.
That's how it was explained to me too.
That was a presentation today. Are we going to hear that presentation?
We're not in charge of healthcare, so I wouldn't think so. I don't know. Yeah.
Except we paid for it.
No, I'm not. I didn't. But historically, we haven't been part, as far as I know, never been part of those conversations.
Right.
Any other discussion or questions?
You got a motion? Do you need a motion?
I don't remember.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
yes,
Yes.
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 Yes. Stepped out.
Okay.
I hope to have better news for you next year.
Thanks. West Porter Township Fire Protection District,
Let's go.
additional 600. We the boards, 45,573 consultants, $230 official bonds, appropriation needed, West Porter Township Fire Protection District, total $46,403.
Is this fire district or territory?
This is for the fire district. Here with me today is Daniel Dalton from Center Dalton. He's our consultant for the district. If you want to kind of dive.
Sure. So the purpose of this additional, and the reason why it's coming to you, council, is because you appointed the West Porter Township Fire District Board, and so you are in charge of approving and reviewing their additional appropriations and their every single year. So we 2 weeks ago, the district board approved a favorable recommendation for this additional appropriation, and now it's in front of you today for final approval.
Very good.
Okay, we're approving.
Do you have any questions?
I don't know what it is. Is this a new contract or is this the same thing we approved?
No.
New board?
Well,
understand.
yes and yes and yes. But so the biggest thing is that for the consultants, when they did the budget last year, it was prior to the approval of the contract. So the contract was up additional cost. Based on the contract that we have with what the Lake of Four Seasons Volunteer Fire Force. So that's to cover the additional costs. That was not budgeted appropriately last year. That's not happening this year. But in any event, that's the reason why we're coming back to you. But we also engaged these guys to assist us with the formation of the territory. So they're going to be doing our due diligence and have already started on that. We're in discussions with the other two entities for the formation of the territory. So
we're not voting on a territory.
No, not at all. This is just for the additional appropriation.
But that's what the $45,000 consultants
is to cover the consultants, our attorney fees, as well as the contract price for Lake of Four Seasons Fire Force.
Do you have a?
I believe. I don't think we do.
I don't hear one.
Yeah. You want to make one?
Yeah, I'll make them.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Roll call, please. Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Go on, Jeff.
Porter County Sheriff, this is
Good night.
jail general.
Motion to approve the transfer.
I second that one, Jeremy.
Yeah, right.
I was wondering why he was hanging out. I didn't know you're back.
I'm back.
We have a transfer request, $22,000 from salaries to overtime transfer needed to cover the cost of overtime fill open position.
It was a doggone pork fest, wasn't it?
No.
Well, I'll make a motion.
There's
Second.
a motion. Jeremy. We could do it a third time, I guess.
Yeah, we can keep it.
Keep Jeremy's is fine.
Okay. And maybe, I don't know.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second.
Third.
Transfer. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion
Thank you.
carries.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Animal shelter. We have a transfer request, $20,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor on the transfer, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Gotta feed
Here.
those babies.
Great. Okay, we have come to the riveting part of the meeting, which is second reading.
The following appropriations have been brought to you for your consideration. General fund consult 22,335, toxic 1,000, interfund transfer 4.3 million. Local roads and streets, other equipment 325,000, parks capital consultants 2,500, other equipment 130,000. Parks operating medical life insurance 11,000. Expo Center Fund, household and bedding 5,000, building maintenance 4,000, building liability coverage 1,000, event expenses 5,000. Akiki Parks Fund, consultants 2,750, special West Porter Fire Township Protection District, personal services 600, consultants 45,573, officials bonds 230. Second reading.
Okay, thank you for that. We have a motion to accept the second reading.
Motion approved.
We have and the second.
Yep.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. Good, thank you. Now we are, any other matter that may come before the council, we 2020, we have a council appointment, RDA appointment.
Mr. President, I'd like to nominate Todd Elliott. Second. RDA appointment, please.
Second on that.
Do we have any other nominations?
Did you have this one?
Yeah.
All right.
Is this?
Did you get this one yet?
All right, we have a nomination for, Todd Elliott?
Yes, please.
For the, RDA?
Yes.
Yeah. Have the commissioners voted on this?
Yeah, I think they voted through Zero, I believe.
For
Todd?
For Todd, correct. So this is a joint appointment, so.
yes.
Okay.
I would just say, I mean, you can take the vote. It's fine. I'll say something after.
I'm with you.
I'm sorry, what?
No, I'm good. I'll say something afterwards if you don't mind.
So, any other nominations? What do we need on the, refresh my memory on the RDA appointment?
Is it a roll call?
Roll call
Sorry,
or?
voice vote?
I don't roll call wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't hurt.
I don't think it would hurt. Yeah, I think it's better
Okay.
to be safe.
Thank you, sorry.
Roll call? Roll call? Okay.
Yes.
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 I don't see any other appointments, for us tonight. The only one, correct?
Yeah, I would just say on that, yeah, President Brickner's, we haven't really had our eye on this too much. You know, over the last couple of years, we have plenty going on, but I think with the formation of the TDDs, right, Transportation Development Districts, which overlay a lot in my district, and there's kind of a big issue going on. Our mayor just passed record sewer increases that a big portion, over at least half, if not more than half of that increase is going maybe to be invested in that area that's covered by the city's redevelopment, but it also overlays with the TDD, which is really all commercial up there. So it, you know, and I know it's also the TDDs are at the train station. So I know Chesterton has a train station too that has a overlapping TDD. I don't know how much it overlaps with redevelopment commissions in the cities and towns, but you know, I think it now more than ever we need somebody that's going to represent the county. I'm not saying that the past appointment didn't, but you know, I think it's time for a change. Somebody that will reach out to us because there's a lot going on. So I look forward to a new representative.
Well, Jeremy, I talked to you about this. I look forward because I mean Todd is the consummate professional. He's going to get, and he's not Democrat, Republican. He's for Porter County. If someone calls him, he'll tell you what's going on. He's going to give us. He's going to give us updates. I'm excited to see him be our representative for Porter County.
And I'm not saying they need to come up in front of us every month at all.
I mean,
but
if someone calls or maybe once a year, give a, you know, or even a quick email. Just wanted to let you know these TDDs were, you know, I think that's a good thing for all the council to be aware of. So,
because it's essentially a TIF district that
yes, it is.
I believe they have to get into a partnership with the city or town that overlaps it, and the RDA is going to get a portion of this.
Bingo.
This you know, the increase in the assessed value. So then the RDA is going to turn around and be able to spend that money in these areas. So
And that's why I think we need a strong representative to make sure that Porter County's voice is heard. So I think this is going to be good news for us. I agree.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Comment? Any other discussion on that?
Maybe this gentleman you're talking about needs to have a presentation or something to us instead of just an email saying how it's going.
You know what? If that's our pleasure, we can do that. And I think that once a year,
yeah, whatever.
Give a presentation of what's going on and what Porter County is benefiting from the RDA and what we want to see.
Yeah.
You want to try to do something here? Yeah, with budget time.
I'll probably just see them get a meeting at least. I'd say give them at least a meeting.
How often do they meet?
I'll be honest with you. I've looked on the RDA website.
Anyone on the council know?
Kind of. It's.
I would almost say monthly, but I could be wrong. They probably have some different committees too. But yeah, I haven't entirely dug in, you know, as of recent. But it's something that you know, being that the TDDs in my district, one of them is, you know, and they just increased, you know, some fees over there outrageously, you know, without maybe, I don't know, but without maybe looking at other sources. So I'll begin to engage on a more regular basis on what's going on with the RDA.
Well, that's why I asked how often do they meet, because rather than wait until a year for this gentleman to speak to us, you know, after he's there 6 months, maybe give us a report then, give us another report, as opposed to waiting until he's up for reappointment again, so we have a better understanding, because I believe we're giving them a lot of money last time I checked.
About $3 million a year.
They were roughly, yeah.
Definitely,
I think
$3 million.
Yeah, so it in my opinion, I would like to see it more than once a year. I don't know how the rest.
Well,
do you feel?
Joy just gave me the schedule. This was last year's. Just FYI.
Okay.
It was February, May, August, November, but they did have directors meetings, which were every month. So
yeah.
So basically, if he were to at least twice a year, I think that would.
Yeah.
We talk about transparency. I think that would be fantastic. You know.
Hey, I'm excited. Listen.
Me too.
I'm gonna give a presentation and you know maybe answer questions about the Jeremy's concerns. I have
exactly.
I have concerns of them.
And Todd sat on some basic boards. I don't want to say basic, but Todd sat on the Stormwater Advisory Board.
You right?
Yeah, so he's he's kind of been in the nuts and bolts of the county, so I think he appreciates, what's going on around here. So, but
I think it's good.
it's 3.5 million a year too. So
3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So twice a year would be a good idea. My suggestion.
Well, is that something you might be able to
Yeah.
reach out? Okay, let's plan on let Joy reach out and get them on the agenda.
Sounds good.
Very good. Any other discussion on that? Okay, let's move to the opioid committee. We have opioid grant committee president appointments.
Well,
Who do we
I
have
would
here?
Make a motion, we accept to approve the additional, I believe it's $15,000 from Sam. I know last meeting I just asked to see if we could set this opioid committee up, and thank you to everybody who participated in getting this set up. So I appreciate that. I think you're having your first meeting, Greg, when?
It's September 12th at 1 p.m.
So that's a good thing.
Is this 15,000? Refresh my memory.
It's for the allocation of from opioid fund money to the truck proposal from the Community Change Center run by Sam, who's sitting in our audience.
Well, will that complete then the purchase of it?
Should you want to?
No,
She raised enough to purchase two.
She can. What are you gonna buy a little Volkswagen Beetle from the '60s?
No, I'm just saying. Actually, that was a joke, but she did an amazing job funding.
So
Oh, yeah.
this is there a committee?
I'm sorry.
Is there a vetting committee put together?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
There is.
Yes.
And do we have anything from that vetting committee on the request?
So is there a motion?
I didn't hear one.
Not been a,
Oh, Red did?
Maybe it needs to, because I don't think it was advertised, talking to Greg and Dave, so maybe the motion needs to maybe be contingent upon the advertisement out of unrestricted, I believe.
Of unrestricted.
Yeah, we would need to advertise for like basically next month, and I believe that the grant committee is doing it out of the unrestricted fund rather than the restricted fund at this point.
So we would table it then?
Well, you would just, I would make a motion if this is what your intent is to put it on the advertising for your next month's meetings. You can appropriate those additional funds.
Okay.
Just to be clear that the previous grant monies have come out of the unrestricted opioid rather than the restricted. So,
How much do we have in unrestricted by give or take?
800. Yeah, about 800K.
Okay.
Or no, restricted. We have
800. That's what I thought. Unrestricted is about 100 or something.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
So we need a motion to put this on the next meeting agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second to do exactly that. And any other discussion about that? Okay, so be on the next meeting agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion carries. Now we're at this bonds discussion on the $25 million bond.
So, Mr. President,
Harold,
talking with Harold.
guide us on
Yeah.
this one
Yeah.
a little bit?
This is just to start the process. We're on the bond that.
Okay.
I talked-
Yep. I was.
This is just to start the process of discussing the bond to get.
The suggestion that was made from, if I may, Mr. President, from Attorney McClure was, given the deadlines that we have to be cognizant of with respect to the second bond, if we don't approve the second bond within a certain time window, then we're going to lose that option to do so. That if the council is amenable to doing so, is for someone to make a motion to start the process for the second $25 million bond. I would also suggest that a motion to start the process be uh, that included with that be a motion that the council at their next meeting, which would be, I think, is it the 24th, somewhere thereabouts, hold 24th, hold the first public hearing on the preliminary determination to issue bonds, because that's not going to obligate the council to the bonds. It's just simply going to put on the agenda for next meeting the first public hearing on the preliminary determination to issue the bonds, which statutorily we would be required to do. And if we miss that date, then we're going to be pushing up against pretty tightly some of these deadlines. And again, if we do vote on this tonight, it's not going to obligate the council to approve the bond in any way, shape, or form. It's just to start the process and then to put the first public hearing on the preliminary determination on the next level.
So one motion with both of these things included in the same motion, or is it two separate motions?
It's probably simpler to just do one motion to start the process, to approve the second, or to consider the second $25 million bond, and then a second motion to set it, the preliminary determination hearing for next month's council meeting.
September 24th.
I make a motion to start the
Process.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move forward, which includes a public hearing on the 24th. Correct this motion, right?
That would be a second motion.
That'd be a second motion.
Separate. Okay, I got you. So this is to start the process. We have a motion and second to start the bond process.
Okay.
Correct.
Very simple.
And for discussion.
Yep.
I understand the projects we have in front of us. You know, I think you guys know I was pretty vocal about this first round. I really thought the majority should have went to the jail. And I asked them about phasing in the garage, just not knowing where we'd be at this time, when it came back around. I asked to get true price tags on all the other projects. I didn't know, I guess, at the beginning of the year, it hasn't happened that Commissioner Biggs would stand up and say it's time for a wheel tax in this county. That did in January. I didn't know this morning he would stand up and say it's time for an income tax increase. I didn't know, I should have known that my monthly, taxes go up every year on my mortgage. The assessment's going up. It's crazy every year. I think in the last 10 years, 33% maybe. So I think the average homeowner's taxes are going up every month right now. I live in Portage. The mayor just got past the largest, utility increase in the history of the city. People's property taxes are going up every day. If you live in a municipality, utilities are going up. Now we're looking at raising people's income taxes. This bond will affect people's property taxes. Everybody was screaming the last couple of years about the inflation, what's going on from the federal level and the spending. And it seems like right now this year we're just piling it on from the local level now. And I understand the projects that we have. I really do. And I thought long-term planning was important, that we really never have done it, I think, at the right pace. But I'll go back to I argued to spend more money at the Opera House. But one thing that I said was, as long as we can take care of our own stuff also. Never in a million years did I think that we're going to turn around and hand that over to somebody else. Without a discussion from this body, the people that voted on that $5 million.
Not even an email.
And here we are, again, working to raise people's taxes. I mean, that $5 million could have taken care of a lot. Not saying I wouldn't have put some money into the Opera House to button it up, but maybe those conversations would have been different, working with the city. If that's the right path, I don't know. But there's $5 million. We handed a lot of ARPA money out. A lot. So I get it. The question, I don't know, it was a meeting. I thought it was an endorsement interview. on Tuesday, Mr. Brickner. I didn't know from what I got. I wasn't invited to that meeting with the public safety, but it seemed like it was an endorsement meeting from what I got, whether they were going to endorse people, it seemed like
there's
not a question of whether we support public safety or public safety tax. It's not the same question. We support public safety. I think, and we've been chasing Portage and Valpo about raises. We've been trying our ass off. I think Porter County has a really competitive environment for public safety. Our first class officers, I mean, the sheriff, we're trying. You know that. The last sheriff, but in this county also, we have to balance what the taxpayers want to pay. They want larger government, they want smaller government. I mean, I think we spend 25% of our budget on public safety. We spend 2% on, recreation. And and I don't believe that includes the court systems. Prosecutors, public defenders. It's a tough balance. It really is. But the taxpayers are carrying a lot right now. It seems like everybody's piling it. I mean, and I'm not saying I have all the answers right here, but I think the discussions need to be out front. And I think that's what you said earlier. I think if there's a discussion about some lid increase, it needs to be a long discussion, and people need to provide details on what the true need is. It's not just we need more money. Provide details. There has to be a long conversation with the general public. People are pouring it on right now. So that's all I got to say. I'm not going to vote for this at this time for those reasons. I've objected, and I'm fighting that sewer increase in Portage. I just think they didn't properly lay it out. They didn't explain it. That's my opinion. I'm objecting. And I'm doing it right now. It's just too much right now.
We don't even know the amount though, Jeremy. This is start the process so we can talk about the amount because we don't even have an amount.
But it's on top of what's happening in Portage. It's on top of everybody's tax, property tax. It's on top of Commissioner Biggs standing up and saying
that's Commissioner Biggs.
But
everybody knew last year we were doing the garage in this jail and this bond. So if we don't start the process, we can't even have Baker Tilly come in and say, hey, look, it might be $3.30 a month. So you might be rejecting something for $5. I don't know the numbers, but that's why we have the bond determination meeting to get them in here and look at the numbers for the jail. If we don't want to take care of the jail, then we can vote it down and say, no, we're not going to.
That wasn't even it. Yeah, I mean, that's not a fair assessment. I said the jail should have been the most important thing in the last bond.
I understand that, Jeremy, but I get it. You're not a commissioner. I'm not a commissioner. That's how they wanted to do it. And if you think about it, I'm not defending the commissioners. You know what? They're their own office. But why are we doing this? Because the garage is almost done. We're doing a groundbreaking tomorrow because a lot of this work on the jail had to be done over 6, 7, 8 months. So that's why they scheduled it that way. So, I mean, I think we're spending, $25 million on the jail. So, but I think if we, like I said, we're voting to start the process. We get Baker Tilly in here, and if it's something that this council does not support, then so be it. But to start the process, like I said, I made a motion. I think Andy Vasquez seconded it.
Do we have any comments?
I want to see the numbers. I agree with Brad. We need to see the numbers. I also agree with Jeremy. There's a lot of taxing and a lot of things being talked about right now that's really impactful. And we need to know. We need to know the numbers.
You're right. You're 100%. Listen, like I said, I have daughters. I got daughters that just moved out. One's pregnant right now. I get it. Everybody is hurting tax wise. But again, I believe Mr. Brickner and even Jeremy said, if we're going to do something, it's going to be transparent. We are going to get the numbers. We're going to share them and say, this is where we're at. $2 million for Willow Creek for the next 7 years. We're running a shortfall on our insurance of, $4 million a year because we didn't budget or allocate it or budget it correctly for the last 5, 6, 7 years. So, I mean, we have some real needs in front of us, and we can't hide from those needs. We have to talk about them and figure out how we're going to do it. Are we going to raise the interest from the foundation from 3.25 to 5? Get an extra $2.8 million. I think it's a Band-Aid, but you know what? It's money that will help. So, but we can't kick the can down the road. We have to answer the questions. and get the information for the public. That's why we're here. And it's usually not a pretty process, but it has to be done.
The commissioners have to be involved with us too. It's not when they don't even discuss after we vote and had some pretty contentious discussions about the Opera House, and they just, without one single comment to this board, decide to potentially just hand it over to another unit. When, again, Commissioner Biggs stood up January, I don't know what it was, said it's time for a wheel tax. He stood up this morning and asked the municipalities for information about an increase in Lytton and wants it 30 days. We're the body that approves that. Did we ask for that? There's an issue with the Board of Commissioners right now that we better get a hold of.
I don't think it's our job to get a hold. I mean, they're elected, so I don't think it's our job to get a hold of the commissioners.
We fund this stuff.
I'm sure not gonna.
We fund this stuff. So.
Well, bottom line is the commissioners can't fund it. We do, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so whether they talk to us or not, it'll be our choice and decision.
Right. But I mean, as far as this jail that's in front of us, we've been talking about this for a year. We've all known this. We've seen the plans. You've asked for plans. Barb gave us plans. We have timelines. We have Joe Wiswati, who's doing facility studies for another $6.5 million. I mean, I think people are doing all they can to give us the information. Now, I understand maybe Jim Biggs and you don't talk. I get that. But you know what?
You guys know about the Opera House? Somebody raised their hand.
About the Opera House, I'm talking about everything. I understand that. You guys don't talk. But this is what we have in front of us is the jail that we've been looking at for a year.
Well, we have a motion and a second. Let's call the question. Vote on it.
I agree with a lot of what Jeremy said, and I understand what Red is saying. We do have a little bit of a timeline here to save money by getting this going, and getting it under the conditions that we agreed to earlier in the year. However, it is disheartening to see that we put taxpayer money, ARPA money, into a project that a lot of us dearly love, and not only to find that it's given, whatever you want to call it, to the city of Valparaiso. I represent the whole entire county. What are we giving to Portage? What are we going to be giving to Chesterton? I just wonder how fair this is to other and to the unincorporated areas. This is part of the wealth of the county that was literally just gifted to the city of Portage or to the city of Val.
I think it wasn't, at least from what I know, it's not gifted. I haven't seen the MOU if it got. Did the MOU get approved, Dave? You know?
What happened was the MOU was Patrick Flynn was representing the city of Valparaiso, and all they're doing now is due diligence to find out what the costs are, what management and overhead would be before making any other action.
So they might not even take the opera, and we're not giving it to them. It's an MOU for 4 years, correct? So it's for management purposes only. So
well,
but no, I just want to. I'm just.
No, I appreciate.
We're not giving
the clarification.
letting them, do
but
programming for 4 years.
I'm just saying, I wish there was more transparency between us and the commissioners, because we could have put that money towards healthcare. We could have put it towards roads. Could have put it towards IT.
But it's our building. We need to fix it anyways. We need to do the roof, the brick. I mean, I'm not saying.
You said it right. It's our building.
It's our building.
We should take care of it, and we did.
Right, but if we're having a hard time running it, and if Valpo can
well,
run
that's
it for 4 years,
that is the commissioner's problem.
Right, it's their problem.
Having a problem running it.
Exactly.
And but anyway, I am going to vote to get this motion going for the jail, just to get it going.
I mean, talk about public safety. This is
absolutely.
This is about as public safety as you can get.
Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second to proceed with the process. Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
My next motion would be to place the agenda on the council next monthly meeting to conduct the first public hearing on the preliminary determination to issue bond.
We have a motion
Will we have all the
Second.
facts
and a second.
by then? We'll have numbers and everything.
But
that we
well,
We're
well,
just
Baker
putting it for
Tilly.
preliminary determination.
Define the numbers.
Yeah. And then
that'll be, but they'll be prepared. That'll be there.
Yeah, should.
should they?
They should, and I don't want to jump ahead. We may want to consider asking Baker Tilly and the individuals who thought we were going to be here tonight to be here at the next meeting, or to at least provide to us before our next meeting because I thought that those individuals were going to be here tonight to answer some of these kinds of questions. And it's fine that they're not. I think it was just a miscommunication. But my point is I think it would be, once we've voted on this, whether we're going to put it on the agenda, the first public hearing, we should also consider a motion to, maybe make a request to the commissioners or to Baker Tilly and Taft Law to summarize for us before this next meeting what we can expect for the first public hearing on the preliminary determination. Because I think that would be.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, honestly, we'll have Joy send it over to the commissioners, and that's, I don't even think we need to make a motion, because if we don't get anything, we don't vote on it.
Yeah.
Suppose that.
Yeah. Right.
I
So
just read Joy's lips, and she's on it.
well, there we go. we're all good for that preliminary determination.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilman.
We have a motion and a second, and we're going to add all the way. Harold, we're going to have Baker Tilly here on the 24th. It'll be our first public hearing, and we'll be here to expound on questions I have with this. So,
great.
So we have a motion and a second.
Sound
all right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Good comments. Next on the agenda, we have Auditor Karen Martin and Chief Deputy Dave Wilshinsky talking about the levy limits and tax caps.
Auditor speaking.
Yeah, it says the auditor speaking.
Peaks and valleys.
Oh, okay. Need my glasses.
It wasn't properly advertised for you to speak. That's okay.
Just a hard time. I'll put on a skirt.
Oh, here you go.
We're getting this now.
All right, good evening again. So what you have in front of you is the property tax cap impact to the county for 2023, 2024, and the estimates for 2025. So if you go through on first page, sorry about the stapling on some of them, you'll see that it's for the Porter County government and the municipalities, cities and towns. Over from 2023 to 2024, overall the tax caps went, the tax cap impact went down in Porter County, meaning that instead of losing out on 13 million that we lost in 2023 due to tax caps, we only lost 9 million in 2024 to tax caps. The reason being is there was a predominant PETA BOA case called the Schiffler case that moved a lot of stuff from taxing percentage 2 to taxing percentage 1, from taxing percentage being untaxed. So that is where the property tax dropped. The caps dropped over that year period. The estimate for 2025 is that it will go back up slightly. Just again, people will then start hitting more caps in cap 1, and we'll start granularly losing back up to that again.
The tax caps are at a percentage their property, what they're assessed at.
Yes.
So I remember the assessor saying that a lot of our commercial properties were under.
Correct.
So I don't understand why we would be shorter the coming year than we were this year.
So again, the reason that is because again, those are just departments. They've hired a third party to take care of specific commercial and personal property. These are residential.
Oh, okay. So, but how would that impact this? Anything at all? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it could, but
in the favor of the county.
In the favor of the county.
Okay.
I think a lot of the commercial properties were not including the personal property. And that's why they're going through.
Thank you.
On the third page, you'll see the schools, libraries, West Porter Fire, and then on the last page, you will see the townships, both broken down by fire. So.
Oh,
Dave, you need from us. You need a. What do you need here? You need a motion or a letter to be sent.
Nope. This is just something that the auditor is required to come before you each year and let you know once the report has come out what the actual because each year they're estimates, and so once we get the actual data back in, then we can give you actuals.
So this is just educational.
Correct.
Thank you.
Mr. President, if I may, the statute requiring the auditor present these numbers to us from BLGF does state that the council may prepare written recommendations to the taxing units located within the county. And in the past, the council has voted to make a recommendation by way of a letter asking the local taxing units to be mindful of the maximum levies and to be cognizant of those maximum levies as they pass their budget. So if that may be if we want to continue doing the same thing, that way we can, if someone would make a motion to prepare the same recommendation to the taxing units that we have in the past. It's a generic recommendation and it's permitted by statute, and it's just asking essentially the taxing units to budget within the maximum levies.
Does that go from the auditor's office, or
that would come from the council?
The letter from
the written recommendation, which it's worded as a written recommendation, would be a letter, would come directly from the council.
Make a motion to send that letter.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to send the letter. Be consistent with what we've done in the past. Any other question or discussion on that? So this will be passed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray.
And then I got one other thing.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, sir.
Great job. Thanks. That's guard.
Okay. You know what that looks like?
Yes, it is.
They take a big chunk.
Yes, they do.
Our council agenda. We are now at the
write-off
public comment session, and I will open the floor for public comment. Anybody from the
peanut gallery?
From the
one peanut
audience there would like to.
Hey guys, how you doing
public-
tonight?
Please
I am super glad. What was that?
identify yourself.
You know who I am. I'm Dawn Miller.
Good evening,
I'm
Ms. Miller.
certainly glad. What?
I said good evening, Ms. Miller.
My hands down. I'm glad you guys brought up the employees. That's
That's awfully sad that all that money that you jumped into was given to Valpo. I hear how, upset Jeremy is about it. But my article that I have here from September 8th, 2022, where, the ARPA funding released for the nonprofits were being questioned. Do you remember that? Because I do. I remember when you guys were threatening to withhold this ARPA funds from the rest of the nonprofits unless the MOH got that $5 million. Man, that kind of hurts, doesn't it? Especially for those of us that worked super hard following this year after year. Let's see, 2.8 million to 4.6 million presented by Scott of Skillman Corporation. I mean, I'm just besides myself because now you guys finally come out and say what I was saying for the longest time. Oh, this money could have been used so much better. You guys should have handed some of this money over maybe to the trustees. So many other places that this money could have went. But yet, you gave it to the MOH. And now, they're giving it to Valpo. You could say it's a 4-year plan. Okay, they're giving them 4 years. Check it out, see what goes on. But I promise you, John Costas has got his hands in there. He gonna get that building. You guys put all that money into that building. My money and other people's money. I begged you not to do it. And what did you do? You went ahead and gave it to him. And now you get so. Thank you.
Anybody else? Going once, twice. Public comment is closed. Reports.
And nothing new to report other than what we've already discussed.
Thank you.
Motion.
Harold.
No news is good news.
Good.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
So motion second to adjourn.
All right.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Holy cow.